She helped a lost pup find his father. Hours later, the Lycan king claimed her as his fated mate. Mist curled around the twisted trees like pale fingers, and the wind whispered secrets that only those who listened closely could hear. Alara walked carefully along the narrow path, her boots crunching softly on fallen leaves. She always felt a strange pull toward this part of the forest, as if something unseen was waiting to meet her. Tonight, however, it felt different, heavier, almost expectant. Alara was small in stature but carried herself with quiet confidence. Her brown hair, loosely tied back, swayed with every step. Her green eyes, sharp and curious, scanned the shadows as though they could see more than what the eye could catch. She had grown up in a small village at the edge of these woods, where tales of wolves and spirits were passed down like bedtime stories. Most people avoided this forest after dusk, but Alara never feared it. She believed that sometimes courage meant stepping into the unknown. A soft whimper echoed from the darkness ahead. Alara paused, her heart skipping a beat. She knelt down, peering into the shadows. A small silver-flecked wolf pup trembled behind a tree. Its fur was damp, and its golden eyes reflected fear and confusion. "Hey there, little one," Alara said gently, her voice barely above a whisper. She extended her hand, and the pup took a hesitant step forward before retreating. "It's okay. I won't hurt you. I just want to help." The pup shivered and let out a low whine. Alara's heart tightened. Something about the way it looked at her. It was as if it recognized her. The forest around them seemed to hold its breath, the wind ceasing, the rustle of leaves gone. Slowly, cautiously, the pup inched closer and Alara knelt fully, opening her arms. It took another step and then another, finally collapsing against her chest, exhausted and afraid. "I'll help you find your father," she whispered, stroking its soft fur. The pup nuzzled her, and she felt a strange warmth spread through her chest, a connection she could not explain. Something about this little creature was different, almost magical. She decided to move deeper into the forest, following instinct more than sight. The moonlight barely touched the ground, and shadows danced across the path. Strange sounds echoed around them, distant howls, the rustling of unseen creatures, and the whisper of leaves like soft voices speaking secrets. Yet, Alara felt no fear, only a growing sense of purpose. She had to reunite the pup with its father. Hours passed as they navigated the winding forest paths. Every so often, the pup would glance nervously over its shoulder, as if expecting danger to leap from the shadows. Alara kept talking to it, telling stories about her village, the flowers in her garden, and the people she loved. She felt an odd comfort in their small companionship, even though she didn't know why the pup had come to her. The deeper they went, the heavier the air became. The forest seemed alive with unseen eyes. Branches snapped underfoot, though nothing visible moved. At times, a cold breeze brushed Alara's cheek, carrying a scent she couldn't name, like iron and earth, something ancient and wild. The pup growled softly, ears pinned back, and Alara knew they were being watched. "Who's there?" she called softly, her voice steady despite the tension that prickled her skin. There was no reply, only the rustle of leaves and the whisper of the wind. Yet every instinct in her body told her that someone, or something, was near. Finally, they reached a small clearing bathed in silver moonlight. The pup hesitated at the edge, its fur bristling. Alara followed its gaze and froze. Across the clearing, in the shadows between two massive oaks, two golden eyes glowed like molten gold. Alara's breath caught in her throat. The creature that stepped into the moonlight was unlike anything she had ever seen. Its fur shimmered with silver and black, rippling like water under the moon. It was massive, easily 3 times the size of a normal wolf, and its presence carried a weight that made the ground beneath her seem smaller. "You've wandered far, little one," a deep voice rumbled, low and melodic, carrying through the clearing. "And yet the path you've chosen binds you to me." Alara's pulse quickened. The voice did not belong to any wolf she had ever known. It carried authority, danger, and something else, something magnetic that pulled at her heart. She looked down at the pup, who whimpered but did not move away. I'm just helping him find his father," she said softly, unsure if she was speaking to the wolf or the voice. "I didn't mean to intrude." The golden-eyed wolf stepped closer, and Alara saw the faint shimmer of a humanoid shape beneath its fur. Its eyes, piercing and intelligent, held her gaze. The air around them felt electric, charged with power and secrets. "You are brave," the voice said, almost approving. "But bravery in this forest is costly. You must decide if you are ready for what lies ahead." Alara swallowed hard, her hands trembling slightly. She had always believed in helping others, but this was different. There was a pull in her chest she could not name, a strange recognition, as though the forest itself had led her here. "I want to help him," she said firmly, nodding toward the pup. "That's all I want. Please let me do that." The golden-eyed wolf studied her for a long moment. Then, with a movement both graceful and terrifying, it turned its head toward the trees, ears alert. A low growl vibrated through the clearing and the pup's fur bristled. "They are close," the voice said, softer now, almost regretful. "But the path you walk is not without peril. Stay close, little one. The choices you make tonight will echo far beyond this forest." Alara's heart raced. She felt both fear and an inexplicable curiosity, the kind that pulled people into legends and tales that would be told for generations. The golden-eyed wolf melted back into the shadows, leaving only its gaze lingering in her mind. The pup whimpered again, and she lifted it into her arms, feeling the warmth of its small body against her chest. "We'll find him," she whispered, rocking the pup gently. "No matter what." The forest around them seemed to breathe, shadows shifting, as if the trees themselves were watching. Alara walked on, each step echoing softly in the quiet night. Somewhere deeper in the forest, hidden from sight, eyes followed her every move. And though she did not know it yet, her life had changed forever. The forest began to thin, revealing jagged rocks and a small stream winding through the trees. The sound of water brought a strange calm to Alara's mind, though the golden-eyed wolf's presence lingered in her thoughts. She could not shake the feeling that she was being guided, or perhaps tested. The pup nestled into her chest, trusting her completely, and she realized that she felt a fierce protectiveness she had never known before. They stopped to rest beside the stream. Alara set the pup down, letting it drink. The moonlight shimmered on the water, casting strange reflections on the trees. She sat quietly, listening to the gentle rush of the stream, trying to calm her racing thoughts. A sudden rustle in the underbrush made her heart leap. The pup growled softly, ears pinned back. Alara held her breath. A shadow moved across the far bank of the stream, too large to be a deer, too silent to be a normal animal. She froze, eyes wide, waiting for the unknown to reveal itself. And then she saw it, the golden eyes again, glowing in the darkness, watching her. "They are near," the voice whispered in the wind. "And you, little one, you are closer than you realize." Alara's pulse pounded in her ears. The pup whimpered but did not run. Something about her presence seemed to reassure it, even in the presence of the unseen threat. She knelt beside the pup, stroking its fur gently. "We'll face whatever comes," she murmured. "Together." The wind shifted suddenly, carrying a scent of iron and something wild, ancient, and untamed. The golden-eyed wolf moved closer, just on the edge of the moonlight. Its form was both magnificent and terrifying, a reminder that this forest was no ordinary place. Alara rose slowly, clutching the pup to her chest. The forest felt alive, as though it was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. And in that moment, she knew that her life had changed forever. She was no longer just a girl wandering in the forest. She was part of a story much larger than herself, a tale of courage, destiny, and the pull of something ancient and powerful. The golden-eyed wolf stepped fully into the moonlight. Its fur shimmered like silver in the glow, eyes glowing with an unspoken promise. Alara felt a strange warmth in her chest, a connection she could not explain. She did not know what lay ahead, but she knew she could not turn back. "They are waiting," the voice whispered, fading into the wind. "And the path you walk tonight will bind you to me, whether you wish it or not." Alara swallowed, gripping the pup tightly. Her heart raced, but she felt a courage she had never known before. Whatever this forest held, whatever challenges awaited, she would face them. And somehow, she knew that the golden-eyed wolf would not be the last surprise of the night. The clearing was quiet once more, but the sense of being watched lingered. Alara tightened her hold on the pup and took a deep breath. Ahead, the forest darkened, the path twisting into unknown territory. She stepped forward, ready to follow destiny wherever it might lead. And somewhere in the shadows, golden eyes gleamed, watching her, waiting. The forest grew darker as the night deepened, the silver moonlight barely piercing through the thick canopy above. Mist drifted along the ground, curling around roots and rocks, and the soft hoot of an owl echoed somewhere in the distance. Alara held the pup close to her chest, feeling its rapid heartbeat against her hand. Every sense in her body was alert. Something ancient and powerful waited for them. She had walked for hours, following the winding path that the forest seemed to carve for her. She could feel the pull of something unseen, guiding her deeper into the unknown. The pup whimpered softly, nuzzling her hand, and Alara whispered, "It's okay. We're almost there. We'll find your father." Suddenly, the trees ahead parted into a wide clearing, bathed in the silver glow of the moon. But this clearing was different from any she had seen before. Towering cliffs rose like jagged teeth from the earth, and atop them stood a citadel carved of black stone. Its spires reached toward the sky, sharp and imposing, and glowing runes traced strange patterns along its walls. The air seemed heavier here, charged with an energy that made her skin tingle. The pup stiffened, growling softly, ears pinned back. Alara's heart raced. She knew instinctively that this was the place they had been guided to, but guided by whom, she did not yet understand. A deep, melodic voice rumbled from the shadows. "You have come far, little one." Alara froze, looking around. There was no one in sight, yet the voice carried warmth, authority, and danger all at once. Her chest tightened. "Who's there?" she asked, her voice steady despite the flutter of fear in her stomach. "Show yourself." A figure emerged from the darkness at the edge of the clearing. First, she noticed the golden eyes, glowing like molten sunlight in the dark. Then she saw the form itself, a creature massive and powerful, with fur that shimmered like silver and black. It moved with grace that belied its size, each step deliberate, each movement commanding. Alara's breath caught in her throat. The creature stopped a few paces away and shifted, and for a moment she thought she saw the faint outline of a man beneath the wolf's form. The golden eyes studied her, unblinking, and a strange warmth stirred within her chest, a pull she could not resist. You're not an ordinary wolf," she said softly, holding the pup tighter. "Who are you?" The golden eyes blinked slowly, and the voice spoke again, deeper this time, resonating through the clearing like distant thunder. "I am Kaelin, king of the northern wilds. And you, little one, have stepped into a fate that cannot be undone." Alara's pulse quickened. "Fate? I only wanted to help him," she said, glancing down at the pup. "I didn't mean whatever this is." Kaelin stepped closer. His presence was overwhelming, like the forest itself bowed to him. "Helping him brought you here. That is true," he said, his voice softer now, almost tender. "But it is more than that. You are bound to me whether you know it or not." Alara's breath hitched, bound. Her mind raced. She had heard tales of Lycans, creatures of great power and mystery, feared and respected by all. But she had never imagined she would stand before one. And yet, the warmth she felt, the strange heartbeat that matched hers, made her doubt her own fear. "I don't understand," she whispered. "Bound how?" Kaelin's eyes softened slightly, though their golden glow did not fade. "There is an ancient bond, one that chooses its mate," he said. "You have been chosen. It is not a choice to be made lightly, but it is fate nonetheless." Alara shook her head, trying to gather her thoughts. But I can't. I've never even seen a Lycan before tonight. Kalen tilted his head, studying her with a strange intensity. Neither have I, he said quietly, almost to himself. And yet, the moment I saw you, I knew. You are mine as I am yours. The words hit her like a wave. She wanted to step back, to protest, to resist, but the pull of his presence held her still. She felt it deep in her chest, a warmth, a longing, and a strange sense of recognition, as if her soul remembered him before she ever knew him. The pup whimpered and nuzzled her hand. Alara's eyes softened, and she bent down to stroke it gently. I don't know what to do, she admitted. I just wanted to help him find his father. Kalen's gaze dropped to the pup. He will lead you to the one you seek, he said, his voice steady and commanding. But first, you must understand the world you have entered. The forest, the creatures within it, even the shadows themselves are not what they seem. Danger walks these woods, and only those bound by fate can survive it. Alara's mind raced. She had always been brave, always stepped forward when others turned back. But this was unlike anything she had ever faced. Her heart pounded, yet she felt a strange clarity amidst the fear. She knew she could not turn away. Kalen moved closer still, the golden light of the moon casting silver highlights across his fur. His presence was overwhelming, yet it did not frighten her. Instead, it drew her in like the tide pulling a stone into the sea. You have a choice, he said, softer now. You may refuse and return to your simple life. Or you may accept your fate and step into a world of power, danger, and love beyond imagining. Alara looked down at the pup, who gazed back at her with wide, trusting eyes. She felt a surge of determination. I will step forward, she said finally, her voice trembling but resolute. If this is my fate, I will face it. Kalen's gaze softened, and he lowered his massive head until his muzzle was near her shoulder. The warmth of his breath brushed her skin. Then it is done, he said, his voice low and reverent. You are mine and I am yours. Know this, little one, the bond we share will test us, shape us, and change us forever. Alara swallowed hard. I understand, she said, though she knew understanding only came with experience, and experience would be the fire in which her courage was forged. The forest around them seemed to shiver with anticipation. Shadows shifted, and the wind whispered secrets she could not yet comprehend. She felt as though the very trees were watching, acknowledging her acceptance of this strange, dangerous destiny. You must come with me now, Kalen said, his voice firm but gentle. There is a place you must see, a home, though it is not like any you have known. There you will learn the truth of your bond and the strength it requires. Alara nodded. She tightened her hold on the pup and followed him as he turned toward the cliffs, moving with a grace that belied his size. Each step seemed to command the ground beneath him, and she felt as if the earth itself recognized his authority. They walked for what felt like hours, though the forest stretched endlessly before them. Strange lights flickered in the distance, glowing runes etched into the rocks, symbols that pulsed softly with a life of their own. The pup nestled closer to Alara, sensing the change in the air, and she stroked its fur, whispering soft encouragements. Finally, they reached the base of the citadel. Black stone towers rose above them, jagged and imposing, yet somehow beautiful in the moonlight. Kalen stopped at a large iron gate engraved with more glowing runes. He turned to her, his golden eyes intense. This is the place you will learn, he said. But first, you must prove your courage. The world beyond these gates is not forgiving, and only those who face the truth with open hearts can survive it. Alara took a deep breath, her pulse racing. I'm ready, she said, though her voice wavered slightly. She could feel the weight of what she had agreed to, the vast unknown stretching before her. Kalen inclined his head. Then step forward, little one, he said. And know this, whatever trials await, we face them together. Our bond is not just of fate, but of choice. And the choice we make tonight will echo for all time. The gate slowly creaked open, revealing a path of black stone leading into the citadel. Shadows danced along the walls, and strange, distant sounds echoed from within. Ilara clutched the pup close, her heart pounding, and took her first step forward. As they entered, Kalen's voice followed her, low and melodic, wrapping around her like a cloak. "Welcome, my mate. The night is long and the path is dark, but together we will find the light." The forest behind them seemed to sigh, releasing a tension that had been building since the evening began. Ilara felt a mixture of fear and awe, and a strange, unexplainable excitement. She did not know what lay ahead, but she knew that her life had changed forever. And somewhere deep in the shadows of the citadel, eyes watched them. Golden eyes, glowing with the promise of power, danger, and a bond that could neither be broken nor ignored. The citadel's halls were silent, save for the echo of Kalen's steps and the soft padding of Ilara's boots. The black stone walls glimmered faintly with the glow of runes, casting silver patterns that danced across the floor. Every corner seemed to whisper secrets. Every shadow seemed alive, as if the building itself watched her, testing her courage. Ilara held the pup close, feeling its small body tremble. She had never imagined a place like this existed, not in her wildest dreams. The forest behind them had seemed strange and dangerous, but the citadel was different. Here power was tangible. It hung in the air, heavy and magnetic. And Kalen's presence was more overwhelming than ever. He walked ahead of her with that same confident, commanding grace, golden eyes occasionally glancing back to ensure she followed. There was something both terrifying and comforting in his gaze. She could not explain why her heart raced every time he looked at her, or why a strange warmth spread through her chest when he spoke. "This way," Kalen said, his voice low and steady. "You must see the halls of the northern wilds. They will teach you more than words ever could." Ilara followed him, her senses alert. The walls were adorned with banners of past rulers, their faces carved into stone, their eyes seeming to follow her as she passed. Statues of great wolves and warriors stood in silent vigilance. The air smelled faintly of earth, iron, and something wild, something alive. They entered a grand hall, the ceiling vaulted high, with moonlight streaming through narrow windows. In the center of the room, a large map of the forest and surrounding lands was carved into the stone floor, glowing faintly in silver. Kalen stepped onto it, and the runes pulsed beneath his paws. "You see," he said, "this land is not only ours to protect but ours to understand. Every creature, every shadow, every hidden path is part of the balance. You, little one, are now part of that balance as well." Ilara knelt beside the pup, letting it explore the hall cautiously. I don't know how I can help," she admitted. "I've never been part of anything like this before." Kalen crouched beside her, his massive form dwarfing her, yet his eyes held patience and warmth. "You already have helped," he said. "The bond you share with him, the pup, it is rare. You can sense things that others cannot. That sensitivity, that courage, it is what makes you part of this world." Ilara looked at him, unsure how to respond. She wanted to trust him, to understand the strange pull in her heart, but part of her still wondered if she could survive here. This was not her world. She was only a girl from a small village, used to tending fields and caring for animals. Yet the warmth in Kalen's gaze made her feel stronger, braver. "Tell me about the pup's father," she said softly. "I want to find him. He must be worried." Kalen's expression darkened slightly and a shadow passed over his golden eyes. "He is more than just a father," Kalen said carefully. "He is a warrior of great renown, and he carries a burden that could change the fate of these lands." Ilara frowned. "A burden? What do you mean?" Kalen looked at her intently. "There are forces that seek to upset the balance, darkness that threatens both humans and Lycans alike. The pup's father, and even I, must protect against it. You too are now part of this protection, whether you wish it or not." Ilara's heart pounded. This was bigger than she had imagined. She had only intended to help a lost pup, and now she was entwined with kings, warriors, and powers she barely understood. Before she could respond, a distant howl echoed through the citadel. The sound was not ordinary, it carried a weight, a power that made the stones tremble slightly. The pup stiffened and ran toward the sound, ears alert and tail bristling. Kalen's eyes narrowed. "He is near," he said, "and so is the danger." Elara followed the pup to a smaller hall, dimly lit and filled with shadows. There, a figure emerged from the darkness, a tall man with silver hair and eyes like storm clouds. The pup ran to him, leaping into his arms. Elara gasped. "It's you," she whispered. The man's presence was commanding, yet familiar somehow, like a memory she could not place. Kalen stepped forward, his body tense. "You know him?" he asked. Elara shook her head. "No, but I think he's the pup's father." The man set the pup down, kneeling to stroke its fur. "I've been searching for you," he said softly to the pup. Then he looked up at Kalen, his expression guarded. "And you, Kalen, it has been too long." Kalen's golden eyes flickered with something, anger, sorrow, and unspoken history. "Too long," he agreed. "But there is no time for old quarrels. The darkness moves and we must be ready." Elara felt a chill. The tension between them was palpable. She realized that the pup's father and Kalen shared more than history. They shared pain, rivalry, and perhaps a deep bond that had been broken long ago. She felt herself caught between them, unsure of where she belonged, yet unable to step back. I can help," she said softly. "I can stay with him or help guide the pup. Please let me help." Kalen looked at her, and for a moment his golden eyes softened. "You already have," he said quietly. "Your courage, your compassion, it gives us hope. But this path, it will test you, and it will test us all." The silver-haired man nodded. "The pup carries a bloodline that must be protected," he said. "If the darkness finds him unguarded, the consequences could be catastrophic." Elara knelt beside the pup, feeling its small body tremble. "Then we'll protect him," she whispered. "No matter what," Kalen watched her closely. "And you will protect more than him," he said. "You will protect the bond we share. That bond is stronger than any sword or spell. It is what makes you extraordinary." Elara's heart beat faster. She wanted to ask what he meant, but she could not find the words. Instead, she felt a strange warmth spread through her chest, a sense of belonging she had never known before. Suddenly, a shadow passed over the windows. The air grew colder and the runes on the walls pulsed with a dim, red light. The pup growled, ears back, tail low. "The darkness is near," Kalen said sharply. "We must move." Elara felt a surge of fear, but also determination. She looked at the pup, then at Kalen and the silver-haired man. "Then we face it together," she said. "We won't run." Kalen's eyes glimmered, a mix of pride and something deeper, something she could not name. "Good," he said. "Because the trials ahead will demand more than courage. They will demand trust, sacrifice, and the strength of the bond we share." The silver-haired man stepped forward. "You are ready?" he asked Kalen. Kalen nodded. "As ready as we will ever be." Elara followed them through twisting halls, the citadel seeming to shift around them, guiding them toward a central chamber where shadows moved like living things. Strange symbols glowed along the floor, and the air was thick with a strange, electric tension. In the center of the room, a circle of black stone pulsed with energy. Kalen stepped forward, growling softly, as if sensing an unseen presence. The pup whimpered and Elara knelt beside it, holding it close. "Stay calm," she whispered. "We're here together. Nothing can hurt us if we stay together." Kalen's voice cut through the tension. "Prepare yourself," he said. "This is only the beginning." A deep rumble shook the room. Shadows gathered, coiling and twisting like smoke, forming shapes that seemed almost human. The pup barked softly, stepping back into Elara's arms. She felt a chill, but also a strange excitement, the thrill of a challenge, of standing on the edge of something powerful and unknown. Kalen stepped forward, golden eyes blazing. "You will not touch her," he said to the shadows, his voice resonating like thunder. Not while I stand here." The shadows paused, then recoiled, hissing and retreating into corners. The silver-haired man raised his hands, muttering words in an ancient tongue, sealing the room in a protective ward. The red glow dimmed, the air settled, and silence returned, thick, tense, and expectant. Alara exhaled slowly, holding the pup close. "Is it over?" she asked softly. Kalen's golden eyes softened as he looked at her. "For now," he said, "but the world beyond this room is not so forgiving. Darkness will come again, and when it does, we must be ready." Alara nodded, feeling a mixture of fear and determination. She had faced something terrifying, yet she had not faltered. She had protected the pup, stood beside Kalen and the silver-haired man, and survived. And somehow she felt stronger. Kalen stepped closer, his massive form almost enveloping her. "You are extraordinary, little one," he said quietly. "Not because of magic or blood, but because of your heart. That heart, it will guide us through what is coming." Alara felt her chest tighten, warmth spreading through her. She wanted to speak, to tell him she felt the same pull in her heart, but words failed her. Instead, she nodded, letting the moment speak for itself. The silver-haired man spoke, breaking the quiet. "We must prepare," he said. "The darkness will test us again. And this time it will not wait for mistakes." Kalen glanced at him, then back at Alara. "Rest for now," he said. "You will need your strength. Tomorrow the trials begin anew." Alara looked at the pup, then at Kalen. I'll do my best," she whispered. She did not know what the future held, but she knew one thing: she would not face it alone. As she settled beside the pup, feeling its warmth, Kalen remained nearby, his golden eyes never leaving her. In that moment, the bond between them felt unbreakable, a thread woven of courage, trust, and something deeper, a promise that would carry them through the darkness to come. And somewhere in the shadows of the citadel, eyes watched them, waiting. The bond that had been forged tonight would be tested, twisted, and challenged, but it was strong, stronger than fear, stronger than darkness, stronger than destiny itself. Alara closed her eyes, holding the pup close. Tomorrow the trials would come. But tonight, they had survived. And that survival, fragile as it felt, was the beginning of everything. The moon hung low in the sky, a silver sliver barely visible through dark clouds that swirled across the heavens. The wind howled across the jagged cliffs surrounding the citadel, carrying the scent of rain, iron, and something ancient, something that whispered of danger. Alara stood at the edge of the courtyard, the pup nestled safely in her arms. She had barely slept, her mind racing with what Kalen had told her. The darkness was coming, and it would test them all. Tonight, the forest and the lands beyond the citadel would be challenged by a force neither human nor Lycan had faced in generations. Kalen appeared beside her, silent as shadow. His golden eyes reflected the moonlight, sharp and commanding, yet softened by something she could not name. He did not speak immediately, simply studied her with that piercing gaze. "You are ready?" he asked at last. Alara nodded, though a flicker of doubt ran through her. "I will do whatever I must," she said. "We all will." Kalen placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "It is more than courage that will see us through," he said quietly. "It is trust and the bond we share. Remember that always." The pup whimpered softly, as if sensing the tension in the air. Alara crouched to meet its gaze. "We'll be okay," she whispered. "We face it together." From the shadows, the silver-haired man emerged, his stormy eyes glinting with determination. "It begins," he said simply. "The darkness is upon us." Alara felt a shiver run down her spine. Across the courtyard, the trees twisted unnaturally, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. The shadows gathered and coalesced into forms that were half seen, half imagined, figures moving with an unnatural grace. The air grew thick, and the runes carved into the stone floor of the citadel glowed with a pulsing light, forming protective circles around them. Kalen growled low in his throat. "Stay close," he warned. "Do not let fear rule you. It is the weapon of the darkness." The first shadow lunged forward, dissolving into mist as Kalen moved with blinding speed, intercepting it effortlessly. His claws gleamed silver in the moonlight, his roar echoing across the courtyard, shaking the stones. Alara clutched the pup tightly, trying to steady her racing heart. "You are stronger than you think," Kalen said, glancing at her as he moved. "Do not let the fear control you." The shadows attacked again, swirling like smoke, some taking monstrous shapes, others appearing almost human. The pup barked, though its voice was small, and Alara instinctively wrapped her arms around it, whispering calming words. The silver-haired man chanted in an ancient tongue, weaving protective spells into the air. Light erupted from his hands, holding back the shadows and forming barriers that pulsed with energy. Yet the darkness was relentless, pressing closer, testing the strength of their bonds. Alara felt the pull of something deep within her, a power she had never known. The warmth she felt for the pup, for Kalen, for the forest itself, surged through her. She stepped forward, holding the pup close, and spoke aloud words she did not fully understand, yet somehow knew were true. "Stay away from him. You will not harm us." Her voice rang clear and steady. The air around her shimmered as if her will had shaped it, forming a shield that pushed back the shadows, if only momentarily. Kalen's eyes widened, a flicker of awe in his golden gaze. You have the gift," he said, moving closer to her. "It is stronger than I imagined." Alara shook her head. "It is not me alone," she said. "We face this together, always together." The shadows recoiled, and for a moment the courtyard fell silent. The only sound was the wind and the distant rumble of thunder. The pup nuzzled her neck, sensing the danger had not passed but that they had survived. Kalen approached her fully, his massive presence comforting yet commanding. "Tonight you have proven yourself," he said quietly. "But this is only the beginning. The darkness tests those it cannot break with fire and claw. You are part of something far greater than you realize." Alara's chest tightened. "I'm ready," she said softly, though inside her heart doubt still lingered. "We will face it, all of it. I will not falter." A low growl rumbled from the shadows beyond the courtyard. The silver-haired man raised his hands again, the runes glowing brighter. "They come in waves," he said. "Do not be surprised if more appear." Alara glanced at Kalen. His form was tense, alert, ready to strike. The golden glow of his eyes was sharp, protective, and unyielding. And in that moment she realized something. The bond between them was no longer something whispered in the moonlight. It was alive, unbreakable, and it gave her strength. The shadows lunged again, closer this time, more solid. Kalen moved with a predator's grace, striking down those who came too near. Alara held the pup close and chanted softly, letting the bond she shared with him guide her actions. Light blossomed from her, small but powerful, holding the shadows at bay. "You are doing well," Kalen said, his voice low and steady. "Trust in yourself and trust in me." She nodded, feeling her fear melt into determination. The fear had been real, but it was nothing compared to the love and trust that flowed between them. The pup barked and nuzzled her, and she realized that this tiny creature had changed her, made her stronger. She would protect it, Kalen, and the bond they shared, no matter the cost. Suddenly, the largest shadow surged forward, a shape taller and darker than the rest, with eyes that glowed crimson. It moved with deliberate intent, targeting the pup. Alara's heart leapt into her throat. "No," she cried, stepping in front of the pup. The bond between them flared, light bursting from her hands, surrounding them both. The shadow recoiled, hissing, unable to penetrate the barrier. Kalen roared, leaping forward with inhuman speed, and struck the shadow with such force that it shattered into mist. "Do not touch her," he growled, golden eyes blazing. "Do not touch what is mine." Alara felt a surge of relief, but she knew the fight was not over. The remaining shadows swirled, hesitant now, as if they sensed the bond that had formed, stronger than any sword, stronger than fear, stronger than the darkness itself. The silver-haired man chanted, his voice weaving a powerful spell. Light spread across the courtyard, forcing the shadows back, sealing them into corners where they writhed and hissed but could not advance. The battle quieted, the air thick with tension and the electric pulse of magic. Kalen moved beside Alara, towering and protective. "You see," he said quietly, "the bond we share, it gives us strength beyond anything the darkness can understand." Alara clutched the pup to her chest, her own hands glowing faintly from the power she had summoned. I didn't know I could do that," she said softly. "But I knew I had to protect him, protect all of us." Kalen's eyes softened. "And that is why you were chosen," he said. "Not just for courage, but for heart. Your heart will guide us through what is coming, and together we are stronger than the darkness itself." The silver-haired man stepped forward. "It will come again," he said. "But for now we have won this battle. You have both proven yourselves." Alara looked at Kalen, and for a moment the tension fell away. She saw not just the king of the northern wilds, the powerful Lycan, but the man beneath it, the protector, the companion, the one who shared this bond with her. Kalen knelt, bringing his massive head to her level. "You have changed me," he said quietly. "I have ruled with strength but never with heart. You have given me that, and together we will face the future." Alara felt a warmth spread through her chest, stronger than fear, stronger than doubt. "And you have given me courage," she said softly. I am ready to face whatever comes, as long as we are together." The pup barked happily, nuzzling between them, a living symbol of the bond that had grown stronger through the night. Alara smiled, feeling the power of connection, trust, and love, even amidst darkness and danger. Above, the clouds parted briefly, letting a sliver of moonlight fall across the courtyard. The shadows recoiled, shrinking back, and the night seemed to sigh with release. The bond had been tested and had endured. Kalen extended his hand, large and warm, and Alara took it. "Together," she whispered. "Together," he agreed, golden eyes soft, unwavering. The night was still. The forest beyond the citadel was quiet once more, but the sense of vigilance remained. Danger would return as it always did. But the bond forged tonight, the courage discovered, and the trust shared, that would endure. Alara held the pup close, looked at Kalen, and knew one thing. They would face whatever came, side by side, heart to heart, light to darkness. The darkness might challenge them again, but their bond was stronger than fear, stronger than any shadow, and stronger than destiny itself. And in that silence, under the silver moonlight, they found peace, knowing that together they were unstoppable.